Hello, this is Cece with Going Solo, and you are listening to WGSN-DB Going Solo Network. We are featuring both Going Solo with Cece and the Author's Corner, Meet the Author. And we want to get right into it because we just got, this is going to be such a jam-packed half an hour. And we have Misty the Matchmaker with us. Welcome.
Hi, thank you for having me, Cece. I'm so excited.
Oh, I'm so excited to have you. You know, you've been doing this for quite some time, matchmaking. You started your career with another company, and now you're doing it yourself. So tell us a little bit about your journey and how did you get into doing, being a matchmaker?
It was actually so crazy. It happened a little over a decade ago. I was a single mom, and I was in college to get my MBA, and I was looking for a really easy job. I had waited tables and stuff, and I was just done with the hours. So I applied with this company to be a relationship recruiter. And I thought, I'm so good with people. This is really cool. And so I started recruiting for a matchmaking agency. And immediately the clients just they loved me. They were like, I really want to work with her. And she really cares. She gets me. She's so friendly. She's so honest. And so my boss was finally like, well, let's make you a matchmaker. And so over the next year, I trained with this company to become a matchmaker. And I worked there for 10 years. It was so amazing. I got to meet all these cool people and get them married. And I really liked it because you weren't just like, filling a contract. You got to meet their family, their friends, their neighbors, and really find out who they were. And then you got to go out into the public. And you literally were out there interviewing women on the spot, trying to find the perfect match. And it was such a challenge for me, and it was so exciting that I stuck with it.
It's really cool. Well, I know that you started doing more of the elite, and so you were in, doing the multimillionaire, matchmaking and that type of thing. And so now you've kind of branched out now, trying to reach, regular individuals that are struggling, trying to, meet couples or their partner. And so you're with the heartmarket.com is what it's called, right? The Heart Market. And I like the name of that because I think that's kind of cool because it is, I hate to say it, but dating, it is kind of a market that we have to kind of go into now in today's world with the online dating, with the matchmakers and all of that. But, it really boils down to the heart. So, so I like your name. I think that's great. So what sets you off a little bit different than, how would it, so many online datings, why would you be different than an online dating website?
We're the most selective online dating site on the web. And I can confidently say that because I actually read and interview every single online member. It doesn't matter if we get 100 in a day or 1,000 in a day. No other company does that. So when we first started, we had really low numbers because, our entrance interview is over 200 questions. We do background checks. We want to make sure that when you come onto our site to date, you're real, you're available, you're active, and you're ready to go. You're here for the right reason. We don't want you dating. We want you here if you're commitment-minded, you're ready for a long-term relationship and marriage. Our site gives them free date coaching. They get free matches. We've built an amazing algorithm. So every match that they get meets over 90% of their preferences both ways. So it's kind of cool. You're going to talk with a matchmaker through all these processes where if you're joining some of these other companies, you never hear from anyone. You're filling out your profile and then you kind of go into the oblivion with everyone else. And, you find people on your own. Well, we find those people for you. And another thing that I really like about our program is say you're scrolling through line and you're like, oh, I really want to meet Joe. And you've messaged Joe here and there and he's never gotten back to you. Then all you do is you send us an email. And we email Joe for you and we pick up the phone and we call Joe for you and we say, hey, Joe, would you like to meet Cece? Here's Cece's bio and she showed interest. This is why we think she'd be a good match for you. And we kind of push it out that way. It's a community. We're not an agency. We're not a service. We're a matchmaking community. We want everyone to be together. We want everyone to be friends. We want everyone to be family. We want you to feel comfortable. You come here for relationship advice. You come here for dating. You come here for support. Being single can be really hard. And so at the Heart Market, you're never alone. Our team's always there for you. It doesn't matter what day it is, what time it is. Like, you always have the support you need with us.
Oh, that's very interesting. It's very different. Most certainly very different. So tell me, are there any restrictions? Because I have noticed that when I have interviewed some other matchmakers, they're saying things like, well, if you're overweight, forget it. You need to be ready to date. So you need to lose weight. You need to do this. You need to do that. But the thing is, for me, and because I am a little bit older and I do have some, issues, but I'm not like too bad, not sliding down too awful bad. But the thing is shouldn't we be authentic? Don't we want someone in our lives that's going to be authentic to us? It's still going to have the chemistry with us, even though, we may not be 100%. I mean, I was 100% when I was younger, certainly not 100% now, not looking bad at my age group. But what would you say about that?
It's not realistic. So I have worked with a lot of the $1 million agencies, the bigger, they work with 1% of the income, bracket in the United States. And so, yeah, they get to pick and choose exactly what they want. Generally, they're never happy with it, but they do get to pick and choose that. It's not realistic. You need to be comfortable with who you are, and you need to own that. And if somebody else can't accept that, then they're not the right match for you. They're not the right matchmaker for you. I think that's absurd. You need to go to an agency that accepts you for who you are. As long as you're comfortable with yourself and you're ready for a relationship, then you should be able to find the love that you deserve. And it shouldn't matter if you're 10 pounds overweight or you're 2 years older or, you're a little shorter. None of that should matter. We accept everyone. We are in an agency like that. We always say big, tall, short, small. We love you all. We want at the heart market. It's one of the reasons we started it. We didn't want this high price tag and we didn't want all these restrictions. We wanted everyone to have a place where they could come and feel comfortable with who they are and that we could help them through this journey. And sometimes in that journey, you'll realize, that you have to change a few things about yourself, or that you're being unrealistic, or that you're not being fair to yourself. I mean, we all, it's all about growth and relationships. And I think we do a heavy concentrate on that. And we have a little bit for everyone.
Yeah, I think that's very important, to be real within yourself. And I like the idea that, as you're moving through, you start to understand yourself as you start to date, you start to realize, again, maybe you do need to make some changes. And maybe you also need to, evaluate what you're looking for. Maybe you're not, what you're out there looking for, you're not realistic. And the reason I say this is I just had recently a conversation with a friend of mine who is 55. He wants to date someone who is 30, and he's having a hard time with that. But, within our conversation, I said, I think that's great. And he is young looking. He is doing really great. I said, but if you add on 20 years from now, what's it going to be like? She's going to be 50 and you're going to be like in your 70s. Are you, or 75, are you going to be, is that still going to work for you? So you're looking at not necessarily today, but also long term, aren't you, when you're looking for a relationship?
Absolutely. You really have to think about the whole aspect, to think about everything into the future, because a first date could turn into forever. It happens all the time. And so you want to make sure you're putting yourself in the right situations around the right people. And you want to make sure that when you walk there in that, for that first date, they're accepting you right then for who you are. If you change over the process, if you better yourself, if you make improvements, those are bonuses. But they should accept you for who you are right now, or you should just turn on, just leave. Just leave if they don't, because they have their own issues to work on.
Yes, absolutely. Well, do you have any tips that you could maybe suggest, offer to our audience today?
Absolutely. I think it's really important that you give everyone a chance. Today, there are so many people that decide they know exactly who they are and what they want, and so they don't settle for anything less. And you're missing perfect opportunities. I think so many times today, we just don't give people a chance. And there's nothing wrong with having 100 first dates. There's nothing wrong with putting yourself out there, because life is about the relationships that we create. And so if the first date doesn't work out and you live through it, then great. That was a great experience. You're going to learn something from that date. And so I think that we really need to date more. We need to meet people. We need to put ourselves out there, because the biggest problem is you're not going to find someone sitting at home. You can get online and date, but then you have to do something about that date. Stop texting, stop emailing, get out there and meet these people. Just make yourself available, put that energy out there that you want to meet someone, because you're not going to be able to do that at home sitting on your couch.
Wow, that's good advice. That's very good advice. So what about if people are kind of more career orientated? They still want someone in their lives. Is that do you think that's a deterrent for someone to be able to move forward to meet someone?
I think it all depends, to be honest, on the kind of man or woman that you're working for. Everyone, there's something out there for everyone, and some people are turned off by that, others aren't. I think that if you're a career woman or career man, but you still want to have a relationship, you have to remember that it's your job to make time for that relationship. And that's generally the biggest flaw with, career, is that your career is number one, or maybe you have kids, so they're number one and career is number two. So finding somebody is never a priority, and you have to remember to make that a priority. And if you're willing to do that, then he or she, they're definitely out there for you, but you have to make it a priority.
Oh, this is great advice. Well, I tell you what, Misty, we're going to have to take a quick break, but when we come back, let's talk a little bit about your book, which I've actually, kind of earmarked it a little bit because I want to be able to go into it, because we have this great book here, and it's called The Matchmaker's Perspective, Find the Love You Deserve with Misty the Matchmaker. And so let's talk about this when we come back. I'm very excited about getting into this book because it's awesome. And we'll do that when we come back. We have with us Misty the Matchmaker. You are listening to WGSN-DB Going Solo Network. You're listening to Going Solo with Cece and the Author's Corner, Meet the Author. And we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. Listen, I want to thank everyone for listening to WGSN-DB Going Solo Network. You know what? We are the internet talk station for singles now, and it seems like more and more singles are coming to us with some questions and with some problems that they're having. And so we want you to know that all you have to do is email us, let us know what you think of the station, let us know any question that you might have. We have all these wonderful hosts and guests that are more than willing to really answer your questions. We can do little segments, we can have little question and answer Q&As with them. So we want to be able to make this your station. So I want you to email us at goingsolonetwork@gmail.com. Connect with us on Facebook, which is WGSN-DB Going Solo Network. And you can send us a message there. If you want to keep it private, you can send us an email. Just let us know what any of your questions are, and we'll make sure we find the appropriate expert that will answer that for you. So let's get back to our show, because I tell you what, we don't want to waste any time. We're going to cover this great book here with Misty the Matchmaker. And welcome back to WGSN-DB Going Solo Network. We are featuring Going Solo with Cece and the Author's Corner, Meet the Author. Welcome back, Misty.
Thank you.
It is great to have you back. The first part of the show, you gave us really some great inspirational advice. And I really feel, as a single woman out there in the arena of dating, how difficult it can be and how we can feel insecure about ourselves. And so one thing I can take away from the first part of the show is that really being okay with who I am, being authentic with who I am, will definitely, make it so that we can move forward in our lives. So I want everyone that's listening to know that there is someone out there for you. And Misty is a professional. She's been doing this for quite some time. She has this great site, which is called theheartmarket.com. And you can definitely reach her there. So let's get back to the show, right? Yeah. So what made you write this great book? And I want everyone to know that The Matchmaker's Perspective, Find the Love You Deserve, it's different because it's a workbook. And you can read a little bit in it, you can answer the questions, and it's a very unique style of book. It's small, as you can see, so it's not going to take you forever in a day, but it's going to get the wheels to start moving. So what made you write a book like this?
Well, I wanted a workbook. So generally, I would do all these questions on the phone with everyone over hours. I would just start talking with clients. And finally, I decided I need a workbook. I need somebody to work through this. Like, it helps so much more if you sit down. It's very small, like you said, but it makes you think. You need to answer these questions, because guess what? You need to own who you are. You need to own who you want, and you need to understand that maybe what you're looking for isn't realistic. Maybe it is, but it's time to find out, because you're single for a reason. Maybe you're sitting on the couch. Maybe you don't know what you want. Maybe you're not comfortable with who you are. But my workbook kind of helps you work through it. It's talking about stuffing your preference shell, which I love, because so many times we know exactly what we want, what we think we do, and so we put it all in here, and then we realize no one fits this. There's no one that meets every one of these requirements. And so I kind of felt like this book would be a wake-up call for a lot of people. When they started putting on paper what they could offer someone versus what they wanted, you kind of start to see the difference. And you want the playing field to be level. You know, you want this to be an equal relationship, and it's just usually not like that. Usually our expectations are so high, yet, you know, we're here, and we really need to be more realistic. And
that makes sense, definitely.
Yeah. So it kind of worked out. It kind of helps you really write down and put into perspective what you want versus what you need, and how you're going to get it.
Right. And it allows you to be able to go back to that. Once you answered something, you can then rethink it and go back a little bit and kind of, you know, move forward with it. One section here that I really kind of liked, I like the section 5, setting your relationship table. So tell us a little bit about that.
You know, I think it's really important that you know what you have to offer someone so that you know what you can expect in return. And that's what setting your relationship table is all about. It's saying, okay, this is who I am, this is what I'm comfortable with, and this is what I want. Are you okay with it too? And what can you bring to me? And it just kind of, it's when you really have that honest conversation with yourself. You sit down with yourself with a piece of paper or a mirror, whatever you need to do, and you really look at yourself and you say, who am I? And what do I want? And why do I deserve that? And that's the section really helps you work through that. And it helps you to realize, okay, it's time for some change. You know, I'm ready for this journey, and I'm ready to own who I am, and I'm ready for somebody to accept me for that.
Yeah, I think that's really cool. What I like so much about it is when I was reading it, regarding the relationship, is that what I noticed in there, it's not like, so often when I talk to women, when they're talking about going out and dating, they're talking about their partners having money and having this and being able to do that. But that doesn't really make a relationship. And so, you know, it's being able to open yourself up into your core values and what's truly important to you so that you can have that connection with somebody else. It's not about the material things of what someone has. It's about more of the internal, you know, the being of that person. And so I like that relationship table because I thought that was really smart. I thought it brought it forward of what was really truly important, because money can come and go. You know, our items that we have can come and go. And if a relationship is going to stand strong, it has to really have those core values that are so important. So let me ask you the all-around 100% question that everybody talks about. And I do another show with a great friend of mine, Christopher Kit Smith, and his big thing, and it's called Boy and Girl Thing, and his big thing is about chemistry. Okay. So tell us a little bit about chemistry, and what are your views on chemistry, and can you have a relationship without chemistry? So tell us about that.
So I think there are lots of different kinds of relationships. And I also believe that you can fall in love with someone that you don't have immediate chemistry with. Yes, sometimes you meet someone and you know right then and there, I love them, I feel the connection, it's so amazing. But then there are going to be times where you go on a date with someone and you're like, it was fine, you know, there wasn't really any chemistry. How do you know? It was one date. I mean, how many of us go out there on the first date and put our best foot forward? Not many. Like, I'm a nervous wreck because I'm so worried about my hair, and did I say something stupid, and what do you think about this or that? I mean, we're all self-conscious at one point or another, and that happens to me on first dates. And so I always make my clients do 3, because I think by the 3rd date, everyone's really calm and relaxed, and you kind of really get to know who someone is. And a lot of times on that 3rd date is where you can create chemistry. A relationship without chemistry, I'm sure it's possible. I really am. I think there are a lot of people that choose to be life partners, and it's more about love and trust and honesty and respect for each other and liking to do the same things. Maybe there isn't a big chemistry, but I don't think it's always a deal breaker. I think that everyone wants different things. Everyone needs different things in a relationship, and maybe, you know, that's not something that you need right now. Maybe that comes down the road, or maybe it comes and goes for you. It just all depends. We're all so different, and all of our relationships are so different.
Yeah, that's great because everyone talks about that, and I know Kit is really big into the chemistry. Either you got it or you don't have it. But I kind of agree with you because I think if you kind of take that heat off, you start stepping back from the actual blown chemistry. I mean, I'm sure if you're turned off totally of someone, that's totally different out. Something else with that. But if you're still somewhat attracted to them, and on paper that they have what you're kind of looking for, why not give it a chance? Why not open up a little bit to it? And sometimes people surprise you. Sometimes they're a lot sexier than you realize if you let them, be able to get that nervousness away, right?
Oh, right. You're so right. I mean, so many people have either had such bad relationships or they're coming out of divorce. They've been burned. They don't have trust. There are so many things where they build these walls and you don't know who they are. Sometimes it can take months, and then you meet this amazing person and you're so glad you put in the time, and then the chemistry follows, and it can be the best relationship you've ever had. You just have to be willing to put in the time and see what happens.
Yeah, absolutely. So let me ask you about sex. When you starting to date, what do you tell your matches, your potential matches here about sex? I mean, do you, like, you're suggesting them to go on 3 dates? I've heard people say, well, if you've gone on 3 dates, then you're getting close to having sex with them. I mean, what is your opinion on that?
I really think it's kind of like the whole chemistry thing. It just depends on the relationship. I work with all different age ranges at the Heart Market, pretty much from like 25 to I think 79 right now. And it's different. Some of my older clients, they're like, listen, we've been dating our whole lives, things just move along faster. And so they go on a few dates, they feel the chemistry, and they're sleeping together within, date 3, date 4. But then I'll have younger couples and they're like, no, I have a 10-date rule or a 6-date rule. First of all, throw the rules out the freaking window. Like, these are society's rules for you, and you need to do what you feel comfortable with. If you meet someone and he makes you burn and you're like, I know that I want this, then, I mean, this is life. These are experiences. You go for it. You do what feels right for you. I don't think that we should put a timeline on it. I think it just depends on, where you think the relationship's going, what sex is to you versus what sex is to them. Because some people, it's just physical connection. Other people, it's deep love and devotion. So I think it just depends on the person, but I don't think that, we should have a rule for it or anything.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that's really good. And you are so right, because I think age does play into it. And I hear, because I deal with a lot of, older people, and they say the same thing. They say, well, gosh, we're, getting up in our years and we want to be able to embrace life versus saying, okay, we've got all these rules and we've got to wait, and we can't call back within so many days, and we can't do this within so many days. Next thing you know, they'll be at our coffin, saying, gee, I wish we had taken the time out, So, yeah, it's better to experience life than to never experience it, for sure.
It's true. Yeah. It's true. It's just better.
I agree. So tell us, where can we get this great book at? Do we get it on Amazon or?
Yeah, so right now we're just selling it on Amazon. It comes in the Kindle form in the Kindle store or on Amazon.com.
Okay, great. That's wonderful. And then your website, again, it's called theheartmarket.com. And is there any other information that you wanted to give anyone out there?
I don't think so. Yeah, we're actually working on 2 new books, and we're getting ready to start big summer conferences. So we'll put all that information on our website soon. We're really excited about that. And we're just kind of moving forward. This year, we made our website free for everyone for 2017. So that's a big thing. And we don't have credits and all that, inside jargon that makes you pay for extra things to meet people. Everything at the Heart Market for 2017 is free.
That's nice to know.
Yeah, matches, date coaching, anything you need. We really want to be there for our community this year. Last year, they were amazing with us, and a lot of these founding members helped us build our community in 2015. So this year, we wanted to be able to give back to our community. So we're doing it all for free. So join us this year, right? And
now, let me ask you about location. Does it matter for a particular location?
No, we're actually nationwide. We just opened up to the UK last month, and we're getting ready to open up in Canada at the end of March. So we are officially everywhere and ready to service anyone that is looking for love.
That's great. So again, if you want to talk to Misty, the matchmaker, you can just go to her website. It's called theheartmarket.com, and I'm sure there's a contact information there. You can be able to do all of that. I think it's pretty cool. I think it's very great, and I appreciate you coming on. Again, her book is The Matchmaker's Perspective, Find the Love You Deserve, and hey, we all need that, and we all want that, and so we want that for you. So get the book, to do the little, it's I'll show you inside of it, but it's all, as you can see, it's like a workbook. And so it really makes you think about yourself, bring it out, you know, what you want to do, because you know what, you are a unique person. And so you want to make your matches, you know, your love life, you want that to be unique too. So yeah, very cool. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's great.
So anytime we can get out there and spread the word.
Yeah, it's great having you. Is there any words in closing that you'd like to share? Anything in closing?
I think it's just really important that everybody remembers to throw those rules out the window and make yourself a priority this year. You know, get out there, own yourself, love yourself, and find someone to love you for who they are. And hopefully you'll do it at the Heart Market.
Yeah, that sounds great. And remember, it's free for 2017, so jump on it. So I agree with that. And again, it's called theheartmarket.com. So just go ahead and contact her there and get moving on with your life. And by the close of December, shoot, who knows what'll happen for you, what you have in store. So that'll be great, huh? Yeah, wonderful. All right. Well, thank you, Misty. Misty, the matchmaker. You are listening to WGSN-DB Going Solo Network. This is Cece with Going Solo, and we are featuring the Author's Corner, the Meet the Author. So we'll say bye for now, but we'll bring back some more great guests for you. We love having you. Thanks a lot, Misty.
Bye. Thank you.
All right. Bye.